Hello, I'm Cassie Meyer, Management Analyst for the City of Collinsville. Each month, we'll bring you inside Collinsville City Hall to show you a service that you may or may not be aware of. Today we're talking code enforcement. Code enforcement officers play a vital role within the community. By enforcing city ordinances and regulations, they ensure that Collinsville remains the preferred place to live. So, let's find out more about it when we go inside City Hall. Kim Wasser is one of Collinsville's 2 code enforcement officers and has been with the city for 7 years. Kim's dedication and compassion have proven to be invaluable assets. Taking pride in her city is something she has always done, and as a code enforcement officer, it is what she wants all other residents to do as well.
I've been doing code enforcement for the past 7 years. Started as a community service officer, and they realized that code enforcement was a vital part of the city. So they really have changed some of my job duties and do 100% code enforcement now. We look at a variety of different code violations. Mainly we start off with nuisance violations, and that can be like tall grass, derelict inoperable vehicles either on someone's property or on the street. And then we also do property maintenance issues, and that can be a variety of different things also, whether it's peeling paint, a deteriorating garage or shed, or someone's fence or retaining wall. Just different things that might change the appearance of someone's property that we really want to have people take pride in their property and make it look as nice as possible. And overall, it makes the city and the community look very nice. Yeah, this property actually has several issues going on with it. You can see that the fence is deteriorating and falling apart. They've actually pieced some of the fence back together. It's leaning, the paint is peeling on it. A lot of these are weed trees that have grown up. It's kind of hard to see, but the backyard hasn't been cut probably all year long. It's just about up to the fence itself. And then actually the house has several issues. There's boarded up windows. There's missing gutters, rotting wood. The roof needs to be repaired. So there's a lot of property maintenance issues going on in this house, and just the outside appearance of the house really needs a lot of work done to it. The tall grass is a big issue and that we have to deal with because it's not only unsightly, but it also harbors a lot of rodents, and it accumulates the blowing trash and debris and just becomes a real unsightly, unhealthy condition. Looks like someone may be cut in the backyard, and a lot of times we encounter when the houses are vacant and no one's living in here and no one's taking care of the property, the neighbors will try to do as much as they possibly can. So just by driving by the back where the grass is actually cut, we would think, oh, maybe this isn't such a vacant house or doesn't have as many issues in it. But when you actually get out and look around, you'd realize there's all kinds of issues going on here that we really need to address and cite the owner and find out what is his ultimate goal. What does he plan on doing with the property? What is his circumstances? What's going on with the property? We have a lot of vacant properties in town. Many properties are actually in foreclosure that we have to deal with. And once they're in foreclosure, and the occupant has actually moved out, and there's a limbo period before the banks take ownership of it through the court proceedings. So unfortunately, the city will have to step in before it gets too bad, and we'll start cutting the property on a regular basis and maintaining the property on the outside appearance that we possibly can. And that's an expense to the city. So when we do have to do that, we do lien the property. Once the property does sell or the banks finally get ownership of it through the court proceedings, then they'll pay off the liens in order to sell the property. The person that did code enforcement before me was telling me a little bit about this house, and I think it has sat vacant for quite a long time, but we didn't even realize it was vacant because the neighbors had taken such great care on the outside maintaining the property. Neighbors just got to the point where they couldn't take care of it anymore, take care of their own property and this property. So the city has been cutting this grass now at least for 7 years, if not longer. Every year we file a lien on the property just for the yard maintenance, but it needs other maintenance too. There's just a lot of issues going on with this house, and this is a wonderful neighborhood in Collinsville, and it's a shame that the property owners next door actually have to deal with this. It's a house that's starting to blight the neighborhood. The garage has a lot of rotten and missing wood that has actually fallen off of it. It gives rodents a place to harbor and fest and breed. So it just becomes not only an unsightly but an unsafe condition for the neighborhood itself. It's just unfortunate that the neighbors actually have to deal with this. So we'll actually have to have someone come out here and cut all this down and try to maintain the property to the best of its ability until we can find the responsible party to come in here and take ownership of their property and maintain it like they're supposed to. There's pending litigation on this property to where we're trying to make the owner responsible for maintaining the property, and it's just been unsuccessful right now. So we're just waiting for court proceedings to continue to actually have the owner come into court to find out what her goal is for this property, what she plans on doing, and make her responsible for taking care of it. A lot of people don't know some of the violations or the codes, but recently I had a lady call me and thanked me for sending her husband a violation letter because of an inoperable vehicle that they had on their property. And so of course I was questioning her as, why are you thanking me for sending your husband a violation letter? And she informed me that her husband bought this vehicle that pretty much should have been, or maybe he bought it from the junkyard, should have been in the junkyard, and he bought it for him and his son to rehab. It was going to be a father-son project, and they were going to rehab it, and it was going to be the son's car when he grew up. She informed me that the son was 4 years old. He bought the car when the son was a year old, and probably the car was in such bad state that the son wouldn't want it when he did become 16 years old. So he wasn't aware. She was aware that it was an eyesore and it was an ordinance violation, but she said that he wouldn't get rid of the car until I told him that it was a violation and actually got rid of the car. So it was kind of an interesting story. This house here was actually purchased for back taxes and by a company who does that for, I guess, a living. And they have not once come in here to do any maintenance on this property whatsoever. So we have pending court proceedings regarding this property. It's got a lot of tall grass, weeds, noxious weeds growing all over. The city actually had to come in here and board up the windows. The windows and doors were broken and the door was wide open. We had evidence where kids were coming in here and hanging out. There was derelict mattresses inside where maybe someone was squatting here and living here that shouldn't be here. There was beer bottles and beer cans all over. So the city came in and actually had to board it up to keep people from going inside. Prior to boarding it up, we did do an inside inspection, and the foundation floor has actually fallen into the crawl space area. So it's fallen about 6 inches. This is a property that needs to be condemned. It's unfortunate the neighbors have to deal and look at this property and deal with this property on a regular basis. Since the recent storms, we actually have a lot of the shingles coming off of the property now too. There's a lot of accumulation of trash and debris back here, whether it's been here from the time that someone actually lived here or that's become a dumping grounds for someone. But here's a bunch of tires and trash and debris, and looks like an old shed that either collapsed or someone just dumped back here, because I realized it was a vacant structure, so it was a way for them to get rid of their trash. Once the court proceedings are over with and we do either have the responsible party take care of the property, they'll have to get rid of all this trash and debris and dispose of it and maintain the property or demo it, whatever may be the case. Or if the city gets ownership of the property, then we'll have to come in here and demo the trash, cut all these weeds and vines down, and probably demo the property. I believe we're making a positive difference for the city. We're making people aware of what the responsibilities are when you're a homeowner, making sure they're aware of what they need to do, what the violations are, giving them ample time to comply at no cost to them, whether it's a fine or a court appearance, as long as they comply within the time frame that they're given. And it is making a positive difference in the city. I know local cities around here that do not have code enforcement. They have the police department that actually has to do that. And the police department has a lot of other issues that they have to deal with. And code enforcement's usually on the back burner, and it's something that they just don't have the opportunity to address. And you can tell when you drive through those communities that no one is on top of those, telling people that they have to maintain their property. So it overall, it does affect the community. It affects property value. Just gives you a difference of opinion when you drive through a town where there's active code enforcement and people are taking pride in their property and they're doing what's expected of them when it comes to responsibility of maintaining their property. And I think at the same time, no matter where you live, you just need to take pride in your home. It is your home, and it's where you're going to raise your family. It's where you're going to raise your kids. It's where you want to go home and relax and have a peaceful evening every night. And we just ask people to take great pride in what they own and what they have. I get tickled when I actually get someone telling me thank you. Just recently I had Wally, who I gave a citation to, and his property was in need of a lot of outside maintenance, and his shed was totally deteriorating. The wood was rotting, the paint was peeling on it, and I didn't know who it was at first. Still don't know the gentleman, but I had an opportunity to meet him and talk with him, and he actually thanked me for sending him a violation letter, and I was really shocked as to why are you thanking me for sending you a violation letter. And come to find out, he realized that his property was in need of maintenance and realized that it really needed to be done. And unfortunately, he was taking care of his elderly sick wife for many years, and he had let his property just deteriorate over a period of time. So he said that it just gave him an incentive to get it done, my violation letter. And it looks awesome. He called me this morning and told me he's ready for his inspection. So we'll go by and see how he's done. But he's really excited about it, so I'm excited for him to see how he's done. Yeah, he had a lot of peeling paint, a large hole in the roof up here. And he's taken care of everything that I've asked. It looks really great. Hey, Wally.
How you doing, dear?
I'm fine. It looks wonderful. You did such a great job. I really like it. Looks good. Well, you did a great job. So like I told you on the phone, as long as it passes inspection, and
Yeah.
it does, so everything's dismissed,
All right.
and you don't have to go to court, and there's no fine. That's one nice thing with my job. We get to meet a lot of people that we never would have the opportunity to encounter. And like I said, there are some who aren't very happy when we tell them they're in violation, but when we meet people like Wally, it just makes it all worthwhile. People can call us in an anonymous phone call through the hotline that we have available to let us know about a code violation that they have with their neighbor or within their neighborhood. I get people calling me direct, and then we also get other city employees who will call us to report violation letters that violations that they actually see throughout the day that they're actually doing their own work. They'll see a derelict vehicle that maybe is on the roadway that hasn't moved in quite a long time, so the street sweeper will actually call me and let me know. Or maybe it might be the meter reader who is out there trying to read someone's meter, his water meter, and their grass is extremely tall. So he'll call to report the tall grass to me.
If you have a code or ordinance violation you'd like to report, call our anonymous nuisance complaint hotline at 618-346-5200, extension 4.